बोलिए ना सर।
हेलो,
ठीक है।
मेरा आवाज आ रहा? हेलो,
ठीक है।
ठीक है ना? ओके। So I was dealing with this. ये वाला क्या? ये see, mathematic issues are basically those type of issues which are responsible for growth and development of the plant. Simple. ठीक है? दो तरह का प्लांट को टिश्यूज का रिक्वायरमेंट होता है, एक होता है ग्रोथ, दूसरा होता है मैकेनिकल सपोर्ट. As simple as that. Clear? Because plants, what are plants? Plants are immobile in nature. They are stick to some one place. Yeah, they cannot walk. They don't have to eat. They don't have to, catch the prey. They don't have to run. Right. So everything what is being performed is they stay stationary and they perform all the functions. Clear? Now, दो चीज का जरूरत होता है प्लांट को. The one is the structural and the mechanical support is the one requirement of the plant. The second requirement is the growth aspect. Simple. Understood? So, जो tissues जो responsible है growth के लिए for a particular plant species, okay? So वो tissues कहलाते हैं क्या? Meristematic tissues. Simple. This part is clear? So those tissues which are responsible for the growth, okay, and the development of the plants, they are called as the meristematic tissue. Understood? और जो tissues mechanical support provide करते हैं, transport of water and nutrients provide करते हैं, transport of the prepared food stuff from the leaves to different parts of the plant provide करते हैं. Very nice point. जो tissues protection provide करते हैं plant का, so those are brought under which category? Permanent tissues. और permanent tissues ऐसा कोई कुछ होता नहीं है. Generally the thing is these are the meristematic tissues only which stop the power of regeneration. As simple as that. Clear? This part is clear. So those tissues, those meristematic tissues which has lost the power of regeneration, they become permanent. Simple है. अब meristematic tissues को हम लोगों ने देखा कि meristematic tissues are broadly classified into three broad subheads. Alright. Now which are these three broad subheads? So ऐसा tissues जो कि shoot elongation या root elongation की बात करता हो, clear? Which are located at the tips of the root or the shoot. So those type of tissues are called as the apical meristem. The name itself sounds apical. Apical means apex. So apical can be present where in the shoot apex or in the root tips. Clear? Yes or no? They will give you in an option. The tissues that are found at the root or the shoot tips are generally permanent in nature. Is statement right or wrong? Wrong. Why? They are meristematic in nature. Crystal clear? And particularly which meristematic? Apical meristematic or apical meristem. This part is clear? So apical meristems are responsible for the root or the shoot elongations. As simple as that. Clear? अभी मैंने एक एग्जांपल भी आपको देके इधर दिखाया. This is a leaf. Sorry, this is a a seed that what we have planted in the soil, gram seed. After some time, what we see is that some green leaves starts coming out right from the apex part. We call this as the plumule, and those parts which are actually coming out from the below, we call this as radical. Now plumule give rise to the shoot system, and the radical give rise to the root system. And what kind of tissues are found here? The meristematic tissues are. Which are the meristematic tissues? The apical meristems are there. This part is clear. Second part is, in due course of the time, the plant is also has to increase its girth. Clear? It has to increase its girth. Means the thickness of the plant has to increase. Laterally, it has to increase in the size. So those type of tissues which are responsible for the increase in the girth of the plant are called as lateral meristems. Lateral meristems. And the third one we call it as intercalary. We call it as intercalary, which are present at the root. At the branch, between the branches, or you can say internodes, which are responsible for the branch elongations. They can be called as intercalary. Is this part clear? Yes, no. So these are the three categories of the meristematic tissues. This is clear. Now, if I talk about this permanent, make a heading now. Permanent meristematic tissues. Oh, sorry, permanent tissues. Permanent tissues. Permanent tissues. Please write it down. These are broadly classified into simple permanent, and the other one will be the complex permanent. Please write it down. Simple permanent and complex permanent. If I talk about the simple permanent, you can write simple permanent is broadly classified into three parts. Which are these three parts? These are called as parenchyma, second one is called as pollenchyma, and the third one is called as sclerenchyma. Please write it down. Parenchyma, pollenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Under this, so please write parenchyma. Please write these parenchyma tissue. These parenchyma tissues are responsible for. Please write down. Parenchyma tissues. These are responsible for packaging, and storing of the prepared food. Second, storing food, prepared food, packaging and storing of the prepared food After this, you can write certain parenchymas are divided into some types called as chlorenchyma and arenchyma also. Is it visible from there? Backside also? Huh? Now see here, friends, the parenchyma is further, it is subcategorized. Understood? Now in some tissues which has a green pigments, okay, and they perform photosynthesis. So those are called as chlorenchyma. Understood? The chlorenchyma tissues are nothing but those tissues which have the chlorophyll and they perform photosynthesis. As simple as that. Is this part clear with everyone? Getting my point? So parenchyma tissues का ही सब heading होता है और सब branch होता है chlorenchyma और parenchyma. Understood? Now, might be when you are, when you are crossing through, you're passing through you can say a region where you have a wetland, some ponds or lakes where you can. So you might have observed some plants are there which are floating over the surface of the water. Yes or no? Have you seen that? And it appears to be much green. And they used to float from one place to other place. Yes or no? Yes or no? Why it floats? Why it floats? Because in the tissues there are certain gaps like this which is present. Getting my point? Yes or no? And these gaps are basically filled up with certain air. Getting my point? Yes or no? And hence it used to float over the surface of the water. Is this part clear? So those type of tissues which are responsible for making the plant afloat over the water surface are called as parenchyma tissues. This is clear? This part is clear? Yes or no? Particularly, they will ask you those type of tissues which are responsible for making the plant or the aquatic plants afloat over the water surface. Are what type of tissues are involved in that? Answer should be parenchyma. And one minute. If suppose parenchyma is not in the option, then you can go with parenchyma. Is this part clear with everyone? Yes, no? Because they might confuse you. They will not write parenchyma is like intelligent student. They will just immediately try, oh, air, maybe go for this. Understood? So sometimes they don't give in the option also parenchyma. So in that context, if it is asked, then you go with parenchyma only. Understood? The parenchyma tissues are responsible for making the plants afloat. As simple as that. Is this part clear? Have you written that? Please, madam, 20 minutes. What is the responsibility of chlorenchyma? Chlorenchyma, see, the chlorenchyma is nothing but it is a type of a parenchyma tissue only. Try to understand this point. It is a type of a parenchyma tissue only. But these tissues basically they have a green pigment. That green pigment is called as chlorophyll. And these basically, when they have chlorophyll, they used to prepare their own food by performing the photosynthesis. Understood? And hence these are called as the chlorenchyma. So those type of permanent tissues, plant permanent tissues, which perform photosynthesis and they have green color pigment are called as chlorenchyma. Simple. Clear? Example में स्टोमाटा तो ओपनिंग होगा. Stomata is just an opening, madam. Getting my point? But example नहीं हो सकते हैं उसको. What tissues are basically certain group of cells which are responsible for making the plants to upload. तो फ्लोटिंग भी एक फंक्शन हो गया यहाँ पे, करेंगे पॉइंट, बट स्टोमाटा तो बस एक ओपनिंग हो गया. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, here we have two guard cells are there, getting my point. Two guard cells are there, और बीच में ये जब टर्जिडिटी बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है तो सेल्स पूरा पूरा भर जाता है पानी से, तो उसमें बहुत ज्यादा पानी हो जाता है, तो सेल्स टर्जिड हो जाता है, तो उसके बाद वो ओपन होता है. getting my point. तो ओपन होता है तो क्या होता है, ये जो लाइक here this opening is called as stomata. समझ आ रहा है? getting my point. और यहाँ से फिर क्या होता है, लॉस ऑफ वाटर, लॉस ऑफ एस्पिरेशन. समझ में आ गया? हाँ, फ्लोरेनकाइमा बोल सकते हैं. इट्स अ टाइप ऑफ पैरेन्काइमा टिश्यूज. सिंपल, इट्स अ टाइप ऑफ पैरेन्काइमा टिश्यूज which have chlorophyll and they perform photosynthesis. Clear? Are called as फ्लोरेनकाइमा. As simple as that. ठीक है? Examples टिश्यू ही है ये टिश्यू ही है. इस एग्जांपल नहीं, टिश्यू ही है ये. लोटस के लीफ बोल सकते हो, और वाटर हाइसिंथ बोल सकते हो, या वाटर लिली बोल सकते हो, और क्या. ठीक है, लिखिए इसको, लिखिए फटाफट. प्लीज राइट इट डाउन एवरीवन, प्लीज. If you have written, it's fine. If you have not written, please put it in your notebook. Right? The parenchyma tissues are further divided into chlorenchyma and erenchyma. Written? Now, after chlorenchyma, you give a dash, then write. In that chlorenchyma, please give a dash and then write those tissues which perform photosynthesis. Those tissues or those parenchyma tissues which perform photosynthesis. And they have a green pigment, chlorophyll, are called as chlorenchyma. Written? अब स्क्लेरेंकाइमा में लिखिए, एरेंकाइमा में आप लिख लीजिए. These tissues are responsible for making the aquatic plants afloat, AFLOAT, afloat over water surface. Right? All right. Example में आपने कहाँ पर लिख सकते हैं. Concept is required, not example. After this, we have this collenchyma. Please write it down. Collenchyma. These tissues provides flexibility. These tissues, collenchyma tissues provides flexibility. These tissues provide flexibility to the leaves and other various parts of the plant. Leaves and stem भी आप लिख सकते हो. This provides flexibility to the leaves and the stems and various parts of the plant. Written? Flexibility चाहिए ना भाई, नहीं तो पत्ता टूट जाएगा ना. Getting my point? If there is no flexibility in the plant, if tissues are not there, they are not going to make it more flexible. In a very high speed wind, what will happen? It will get broken away. Getting my point? So this basically provides flexibility. Understood? Second point under this is right. This collenchyma also is responsible for provide mechanical support. It is found below. Full stop. Mechanical support. Third point, please write. It is found below the leaf stalks. or it is found in the leaf stalks below the epidermis. It is found in the leaf stalks, STALKS. Leaf stalks, LEAF, leaf, STALK. Leaf stalk. The joint is called as the stalk. Leaf stalk. Understood now? Below epidermis. Below epidermis. Outer layer is called as epidermis. Any my point? After this, please write sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma. Under this, you please write. This makes the plant. Sclerenchyma. Third one. This makes the plant hard and stiff. Hard, HRD, hard and stiff. Sclerenchyma. This makes the plant hard and stiff. Written. Full stop. After this, you please write. These are mostly composed of hard and stiff. Stiff. एक ही जगह पे रहेगा. Plants में गिरता है क्या? Stiff. Hard tissue लगता है. क्यों? Because they are mostly the dead tissues. Okay, write it down. Because write it down. This is mostly composed of. This is mostly composed of the dead tissues. This is mostly composed of the dead tissues. Okay. इसी कारण क्या होता है कि हार्ड रहता है. एग्जांपल्स आप दे सकते हैं इसके अंदर. You can write this husk of the coconut. Examples, please write. Husk, HUSK. Husk of the coconut. Veins of the leaves. Veins of the leaves. Veins, VEINS, veins of the leaves. Then, right, next one. Hard covering of the seeds. Hard covering of the seeds, etc. Okay. Now, one more thing you can write. Hard covering of the seeds, etc. You can write one more thing. This is thickened because of lignin. Please write it down. This question can be asked. This is thickened. Thickened. मोटा होता है ना? This is thickened because of lignin. LIGNIN. It is thickened because of lignin. 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 Written. Lignin is a, you can say, a higher form of polysaccharide. This carbohydrate. Okay. Please write it down. It is a higher form of carbohydrate. Lignin is a higher form of carbohydrate. Clear? Which is also called as polysaccharides also. Okay. A higher form of carbohydrates or polysaccharides. POLYSACCHRIDES.
Then what is responsible for the sensitive plants?
For sensitive plants like touch me not and all. Touch me not plant is there, right? Okay. So in those plants, see, there is a certain adaptability that are there. The plants basically they respond to external stimuli. Understanding the point? No. Suppose that if you touch, so it will try to shrink. That only, yes. So this is basically adaptations you can say in the plants, which respond to the external stimuli, not from the inside. Understood? So this is adaptability and all. Understood? Now, husk of the coconut, jute, JUTE, jute. It is also an example of what? Sclerenchyma only. Getting my point? Yes or no? Put it there in your notebook. Jute. Okay. Husk of the coconut, jute, etc. Now, come to this part. Complex permanent tissues. Under this, you please write. It includes Where is the pen? You please write. This basically includes xylem and phloem. Complex permanent tissues basically includes this basically includes xylem and phloem. Now together are called as vascular bundles. Please write it down in your notebook. Very important. Vascular bundles. Written? Vascular bundles. Is this part clear? Yes. Now, xylem and phloem are two types of vessels which are found over here. So suppose that this is one, this is the other vessel. Very my point. Yes or no? Now herein, this is leaves. This part is leaves, and this part here is just try to understand this by a very simple diagram. Xylem and phloem. Very my point. Just the green parts of the plant where chlorophyll is present performs photosynthesis. This part is clear in your mind? Yes or no? Now to perform photosynthesis along with along with the sunlight and pigment called as chlorophyll, there is also something required by the leaves. What is that? That is water and certain minerals. Yes or no? Getting my point? So these waters and the minerals which have been absorbed by the root, it reaches to the aerial parts of the plant or the greener parts of the plant. Is this part clear? Yes or no? Getting my point? No, yes. Water, root has to absorb the water along, not only water will absorb, they'll also absorb some minerals also. Yes or no? So this water and minerals will be absorbed by the root and again it will be transported where? Aerial parts of the plants like leaves where we have the photosynthetic pigment called as chlorophyll and all. Is this part clear? So those vessel which is responsible for transportation of the water and the minerals from the roots to the leaves are called as xylem. Simple. Yes. Is this part clear with everyone? And those type of vessels which is responsible for the transportation of the prepared food material to different parts of the plant, including roots. Getting my point? Getting my point? Bidirectional communication. One side, water and minerals are reaching to the leaves. Leaves are performing photosynthesis, manufacturing starch. Getting my point? And at the same time, the other vessels, what they're doing is they are carrying the starch that has been prepared in the leaves to different parts of the plant. Getting my point? So this work is done by which vessel? Phloem. Is this part clear with everyone, friends? Yes or no? Yes or no? So if they ask you in the statement, they say the prepared food materials are transported from the leaves to different parts by the help of xylem. Statement right or wrong? Wrong. Why? Answer should be phloem. The next statement will say the the water and the minerals absorbed from the roots reaches to the photosynthetic part of the plant via phloem. Statement right or wrong? Wrong. Why? Answer should be xylem. Here everyone. And together, xylem and phloem are together called as vascular bundle. Understand here everyone? Very important. Now you can make some notes on it. Please write it down few lines on this. Yeah, please write it down. These write down. These are made up of more than one type of cell. You please write this complex permanent tissues you have written. No. After this, you please write two lines and then I'll link it. Please write. These are made up of complex permanent tissues. Complex permanent tissues. Under that, you please write. These are made up of more than one types of cell. Full stop. Then write xylem. Right. Mostly they are dead tissues. And are responsible for the transportation of are responsible for the transportation of this transportation of the water and minerals from the roots to different photosynthetic part to different photosynthetic parts of the plant, like leaves. In the bracket, you can write like leaves. Clear? Different photosynthetic part of the plant, like leaves. Leaves. This one is clear. Diagram. Then write this. After this, and the xylem under this, you please write the dead xylem. After this, you please write xylem. After mark with the red pen. Very important. The dead xylem. After this, you please write the dead xylem is also known as heartwood. HEART. Heartwood. The dead xylem. Dead, complete dead. जो कि पूरा मर चुका है. Heartwood. HEART. Heartwood. WOOD. Heartwood. Okay. Heartwood. The dead xylem is known as heartwood. Very important. Because you know why? Because the dead xylem, it lies in the center of the plant. That is my point. And that is regarded as the toughest or the most hardest wood of the plant also. That is my point. So the dead xylem is also regarded as the most hardest wood of the plant. Please write it down. This the dead xylem is called as the heartwood. HEART. Located at the center of the stem. Located at the center of the stem. Written. Full stop. Then write next point. This is regarded as the hardest wood. This is regarded as the hardest wood at the center of the stem. It is located at the center of the stem. This is the plant. Getting my point? So there you have the dead xylem. Getting my point? Yes, no? Yes. They basically forms the rings also. Getting me? Yes or no? At the center of the At the center of the plant, if you cut the bark of the plant tree, you will get like this. Yes or no? Yes. Is this part clear? If you wish, you can draw in your notebook also immediately. Have you seen this type of features on any log? Yes, no? This is called as, this is called as, this is called as hardwood. Is this part clear? Understood? And which is also regarded as the dead xylem, most toughest part of the plant, hardest part of the plant. Clear? Is this part clear? At the back, clear this part. Now, this hardwood is nothing but it is a dead xylem. Now, friends, one more thing I want to explain to you all here only. There is a branch of science which basically deals with the calculating the age of a plant by counting the number of the annual rings. Getting my point? Have you understood what I said just now? By counting the number of the rings, we can know as in what is the age of this plant. Clear? So this branch is known as dendrochronology. Is this part clear? You can put it there in your notebook also. After this, you please write dendrochronology. Dendrochronology. Let me spell this. D-E-N-D-R-O. Write it down. Dendro, D-E-N-D-R-O. Chrono, C-H-R-O-N-O-L-O-G-Y. Dendrochronology. You can write here. It is a method of calculating the age of a plant. It is a method of calculating the age of a plant. Okay? Method of written. This method of calculating the age of a plant by counting. C-O-U-N-T-I-N-G. By counting the number of annual rings. Clear? By counting the number of annual rings. And what is annual rings? It is nothing but these are the dead xylem only, hardwood only. Is this part clear? Yes, no? Now, after this second point is this xylem is there? No. Then write phloem. Under the phloem, friends, this part, no. See here. See here, all of you, please see here. Are you understanding the diagram? Yes. Yes, no? These vessels are basically the phloem vessels. Getting my point? Everyone? Yes, no? Vessels are, these are the phloem. Okay? And this only phloem, what? It gets deposited in due course of time. It gets thickened up here. Getting my point? It gets thickened up here. And this type of thickenings, we call it as cambium. And what deposits it is? It is basically lignin deposits. And what is lignin? It is nothing but it is a higher form of carbohydrate or a polysaccharide. Is this part clear with everyone? Can I repeat this once more? See, this is the lignin. This phloem in due course of time. In due course of time, it gets thickened up. Getting my point? And this basically when it gets thickened up, so this when it gets thickened up, it is called as what? Cambium. It is called as cambium. And what is cambium? What material it is composed of? Basically, it is composed of lignin. Understood? What materials are composed of here? Lignin. And what is the lignin? Lignin is a polysaccharide. Is a polysaccharide or a higher form of carbohydrate. Understood? Yes or no? So the thickness of the tree is basically caused because of cambium. Is this part clear, everyone? And what it is, what material it is composed of? Lignin. And what is lignin? Polysaccharide. Clear? We have no monosaccharide, disaccharide, polysaccharide. Yes or no? So poly means you can say that multiple monosaccharides are combining to form a bigger molecule. Is this part clear? Yes. Clear है? नहीं clear है? Not understood. This here we have phloems, right? ये part तो clear है ना? Phloem है ना? ये clear है ना? और बीच में हमारा xylem रहता है, साइड में phloem रहता है प्लांट में. Understood? In due course of time deposition होते जाता है और ये इसका क्या होता है? प्लांट का थिकनेस बढ़ते चला जाता है. Here. Getting my point? Yes, sir. And in due course of time ये यही जो होता है ये क्या कहलाता है? कैम्बियम. अंडरस्टूड? और ये किससे बना होता है? इट इज कंपोज्ड ऑफ व्हाट? लिग्निन से बना होता है. और लिग्निन क्या है? इट इज लाइक अ पॉलीसैकेराइड और अ हाईएस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ अ कार्बोहाइड्रेट. सिंपल. Understood? So in the exam they may ask you the thickening of the plants. Okay, it is known as what it is known as. It is cambium. Cambium is composed of lignin. Lignin is made up of polysaccharide. What is lignin? It is a type of a polysaccharide. And what is a polysaccharide? Higher form of the carbohydrate. Highest form of the carbohydrate. Clear है? सिंपल है ना? Is carbohydrate, polysaccharide. Lignin is nothing but it is a polysaccharide. What is polysaccharide? A higher form of carbohydrate. Understood? Simple है ना? साइंस वाले स्टूडेंट तो समझ रहे होंगे, बट नॉन साइंस वाले स्टूडेंट्स प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. शुगर जो होता है ना, शुगर आपने चीनी है ना, शुगर. तो शुगर बेसिकली हम लोग 3 पार्ट में उसको बांट के पढ़ते हैं. एक होता है सिंपल शुगर. अभी वो चैप्टर में नहीं पढ़ा रहा हूँ, दैट इज व्हाई आई डोंट वांट टू गो मोर इनटू डेप्थ इनटू दैट. बट सिंस वी हैव टच्ड दिस टॉपिक हियर for sugars and all, so just little bit brief idea I'll give you. Understood? So simple, we have a simplest form of sugar, we call it as glucose. Clear? Immediately it breaks down and it gets absorbed in the blood, and immediately it releases energy. इसलिए एथलीट्स जब बहुत ज्यादा दौड़ता है, थक जाता है, तो उसको ग्लूकोज का देते हैं, है ना? ग्लूकोज पीने देते हैं ना. We used to give him glucose. Yes or no? Glucose water. Why? Because immediately it gets absorbed, it releases energy. It's a simple sugar. उसको रसगुल्ला नहीं देंगे, दौड़ के आएगा पूरा, खा लेता है. रसगुल्ला है वो नहीं देते हैं. Yes or no? देते हैं क्या? नहीं, ग्लूकोज देते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि वो सिंपल शुगर है, वो इमीडिएटली ब्रेक डाउन हो जाएगा और उसके बाद उसको तुरंत एनर्जी मिलेगा. रेडी माय पॉइंट. पर रसगुल्ला भी देते हैं क्योंकि इट कैन बी अ डाई और अ पॉलीसैकेराइड आल्सो. इट इज देयर. रेडी माय पॉइंट. वो दूध नहीं पिलाते हैं, दौड़ के आता है तो वो एथलीट, ले भाई दूध भी पी ले. तो क्यों? दूध में भी तो मिल्क शुगर है. यस और नो? बट वी डोंट गिव इट टू देम, to that athlete. Now understood? तो इसी तरह का जब छोटा छोटा शुगर का मॉलिक्यूल जब मिलता है तो वो बड़ा एक कॉम्प्लेक्स मॉलिक्यूल फॉर्म करता है एंड दैट वी कॉल इट एज अ पॉलीसैकेराइड। अभी के लिए इतना सफिशिएंट है? यस, अदरवाइज दिस साइड ओके, ठीक है। नाउ यू प्लीज मेक अ नोट ऑफ इट, राइट वन लाइन आफ्टर दिस यू प्लीज राइट फ्लोएम का फंक्शन लिख लिया आप लोगों ने? प्लीज राइट इट डाउन, फंक्शन ऑफ द फ्लोएम। It it is responsible for the transportation of phloem का function लिखो, phloem function। It is responsible for the transportation of prepared food from leaves to is responsible for the transportation of prepared food from the leaves to the different parts of the plant। Written? इसके बाद इसके बाद you can make one note over here, the inner bark of the tree, the inner bark of the tree, इसको inner ही bark बोलेंगे ना, the inner bark of the tree is composed of phloem। Write it down, inner bark of tree is composed of phloem vessels। Understood? This is the inner bark, right? It is the outer bark, this is the inner bark, yes or no? Yes or no? So simple I have mentioned here, diagrams also are drawn. I hope it won't create any problem. Clear? Now, write the next part, animal tissues. Animal tissues now. Okay, and if I talk about animal tissues over here, no. So animal tissues, again, the tissues basically, guys, wait 1 second. In the plants, what we have seen is that mostly they are dead. Little only they are little only they are alive, right? Because the plants are stationary and they are immobile. Is this part clear? But if I talk about the animal tissues, here animal has to perform multiple functions. Right from eating food to catching the prey, building shelters, and various other functions that needs to be performed. Yes or no? Getting my point? Because they are mobile in nature. Try to understand this way. They are mobile in nature. They have mobility. Understanding? Yes or no? So most of the tissues, I'm not saying all, I'm saying most of the tissues are living. Is this part clear with everyone? Except few males and all. Getting my point? Yes, no. Now after this, what happens is that if I talk about the regeneration power and all, please try to understand this concept, very important. Okay. If I talk about the regeneration power and all, it keeps on dividing throughout the year, I mean, throughout the lifetime. Just 1 second. This keeps on dividing throughout the lifetime. Throughout the lifetime. Now again, this division, try to understand this point, very important. Backside also, friends. Okay, please pay attention, it's important. Okay. Throughout the lifetime, it keeps on dividing. But here again, division is two types. Try to understand this point, very important. Okay, like we had some issues with respect to division only, right? So herein, these divisions can be two types again. It's it can be either, you can say, a mitotic one or a meiotic one. Try to understand this point, very important, because we are talking about animal tissues here. Clear? We have an injury anywhere, cut, cut mark, anything happens. An enormous amount of tissues are lost. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. But when we apply a bandage and all over that cut mark, and after 2 days, what we find is that everything is fine. Yes or no? Yes. Why? Why? Because it has got regenerated. Understood? Even if a person of say 80 years or 90 years, if his hand is also cut, it will again get regenerated. Yes. So those type divisions are regarded as a mitotic one. Unlimited. Lifetime. 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 Clear? Now, certain or another divisions are also there, which are basically responsible for the development of offspring also. All right? Yes, sir. So these type of divisions are basically limited to a certain extent. Understood? Yes or no? Yes. So these are limited to a certain extent. Understood? Now, if I talk about this mitotic division, this is also limited, means you can say it is for all the parts, but again, if I talk about this nerves and all what we were discussing some time back, again in the nervous tissues also, it also keeps on dividing throughout the lifetime only. Getting my point? But there is an exception. What is an exception? Exception is like those which are responsible for CNS and PNS. Try to understand this point, okay? CNS and PNS. So CNS can be like central nervous system, which is that's what we were discussing. Like brain tissues and all, once it gets damaged, okay, brain or heart, right? So they are not generated, they are not regenerated. Getting my point? Yes or no? That is what I was saying. When the heart and muscles and all, but a brain is dead, it cannot get regenerated. Understood? So because those lies in the CNS part, central nervous system. Those tissues are not regenerated. Crystal clear, everyone? Yes or no? But but those tissues which are outside the CNS, that is these vessels, other vessels which are responsible for connecting with the brain and spinal cord. Getting my point? Which is responsible for our external stimuli. Getting my point? Such as Such as if I throw something before your eye, you just immediately blink it. Yes or no? Why will you blink? I'll put my hand in the water, hot water. Will I leave it like this only? Wow, very good. Immediately I'll remove it. Why? Because when I put my finger in the water, when I dip it there, there is a sensation, a hot sensation is there. Yes or no? And this information is transferred to our brain and the spinal cord, CNS. Getting my point? And the brain and the spinal cord says, "What are you doing? Remove your hands. Otherwise, it will get burned." Yes, no. So I'll remove my hand. This part is the PNS part, the peripheral nervous system. Understood? Is this part clear? So those tissues related to the PNS, they divide throughout the life. But the CNS, that is the brain and the spinal cord tissues, they don't divide. Simple, clear? Crystal clear? Understood? Every single students at the back side, is it clear in your mind? Yes or no? So if they ask you the brain and the spinal cord tissues, or these are nervous tissues, when they get damaged, are they regenerated? No. As simple as that. Just keep it in mind. The CNS tissues are not generated or regenerated, but the PNS tissues are regenerated. As simple as that. Crystal clear, everyone? Okay. Now let's move ahead. Now here you please write the animal tissues are broadly classified into. Please write it down. Animal tissues are broadly classified into following subheads. Please write it down. Animal tissues are broadly classified into following subheads. Number one, please write epithelial. Epithelial tissue. Number two, connective tissue. Then third one will be muscular tissue. Please write it down. Muscular, no? Muscular tissue and then the nervous tissue. Yeah. Muscular tissue. And fourth one, please write nervous tissue. Written everyone? Yes, sir. Okay. Now under epithelial tissue, make a heading epithelial tissue. Please write. It is the epithelial tissue. It is responsible for providing it is responsible for providing the protection. It is responsible for providing the protection to the to different organs of the body. Provides protection to different organs of the body. As simple as that. Okay, means it is a protective layer. In short, you can write in the bracket. It is a protective layer. Clear? This part is clear. Yes, no. It is a protective layer. That is my point. The skin. It is also a protective only, no? Yes, no. So here also, what kind of tissues are there? Epithelial tissues. Crystal clear? Now again, friends, epithelial tissues are also, it is classified into certain subcategories. Okay, so subcategories you just make a squareness and all. You just write one line on this. right? First one. It is divided into following types. Number one, right? The squamous epithelial, SQUA. It is divided into squamous epithelial, give some space between these, okay? The squamous epithelium, then give some space. Then, right, cuboidal, epithelial, and then right, columnar. Cuboidal epithelial, and then right, columnar epithelial. Written in the squamous epithelial, you please write under this. Uh, uh, Three parts have you made? Epithelial tissues are broadly classified into three subheads. Written? No. So the first one is squamous epithelial. Yes or no? So we should write its location. Okay. So please write the location of the squamous epithelial. It is found in the. It is found in the lining of the lining. 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 We know, na. We say the lining of the mouth. Okay. Please write it down. It is found in the lining of the mouth, oesophagus, good pie. Understood? No, yes, no. Lining of the oesophagus, OESOPHAGUS, biology. You have to adjust. Cannot fill the name. Understood? So, oesophagus, it is found in the lining of the mouth, oesophagus, and the skin. And the skin. The skin, very important. Okay. So, this is skin. If they ask you what kind of tissues are present in the skin, squamous epithelium. If squamous is not there, then directly go to the epithelial tissue. And if they ask you, then particularly answer will be the squamous epithelial. Is this part clear? Now after this, understood? Now after this, write the second one, cuboidal epithelial. Please write. The cuboidal epithelials are found in the inner lining of the intestine. Found in the inner lining of the intestine. Underline with the red pen all things important. Inner lining of the intestine. Okay. Now, third one is columnar epithelial are found in the lining of the kidney. Lining of the kidney. Salivary glands. Lining of the kidney. Salivary glands. Ducts. Okay. Etc. Understood? Salivary glands. Now we produce the saliva. Okay. So that's it. Now under the connective tissues, please write here. It is further this connective tissues. No. Number one, fluid connective tissue. Write down firstly. Fluid connective tissues. Fluid connective tissues. It will include blood and lymph. First one. Then here we have another, we call this as this bone. Okay, in the bone, further divided into two parts. Tendon, ligament. Okay, understanding this point? Yes, no? Connective tissues means what? Connect two places, yes or no? As simple as that. Huh? So those tissues which are fluid in nature, which can travel and can connect from one part to another part. Yes, and it is fluid in nature. So these are called as the fluid connective tissues. Simple. Yes, no. Now here we have two types of fluid connective tissues. The one is called as a blood and the other one is called as lymph. Understood? Yes, sir. Now in the blood part you can write there. Blood basically comprises of RBC, WBC, platelets, and plasma. Right? Understood? Yes, no. Blood basically comprises of what? RBC, WBC, platelets, and plasma. Simple. Now, if I talk about RBC, RBC stands for corpuscles. Okay. Now, what is the main function of RBC? Main function of RBC, only oxygen transport, right? Most important function of RBC is what? O2 transport. This part is clear? That is why. That is why RBC, they don't have nucleus. Yes or no? Do you remember that? My yesterday's lecture, I said because RBC cells they don't have nucleus. Why? Because in case of nucleus, more oxygens can be accommodated, and hence it can transport more oxygen. This part is clear, everyone? Yes, no. So RBC, red blood corpuscles, main function is O2 transport. Just so clear, everyone. Now, what is the main function of WBC, by the way? Huh? Immunity. So can we say WBC's main function is a defense mechanism? Yes. So please write it down. Defense mechanism, right? Study like in one time only you will learn forever. Study like that. Understood? Now these things you are not going to, I think so. You're not going to get you're not going to forget easily. Understood? Just the thing is you have to revise it more frequently. There is no other option. Understood? The thing is, these things once it goes inside your mind, no, so it will not come out so easily. But the thing is, it has to go inside first. Understood? Now, the third one is the platelets. Anyone suggest me the function of platelets? Excellent. Blood clotting. And I will be happy to to hear from any one of you at which element is responsible for the or helps in the clotting of blood. Can I give you four options? Huh? Can I give you four options? First is iron. Listen patiently. Iron, magnesium, calcium, and sulfur. Iron. Iron responsible for O2 transport. Understood? Magnesium is an element which is important for chlorophyll. Calcium is most important for the clotting of blood. Understood? Yes, no. So now you'll never forget. Okay? So write it down. Right? Platelets responsible for blood clotting. Responsible for blood clotting. And in the bracket you can write side. In the side please write in presence of calcium ions. Very important. Now plasma is the fluid part of the blood. You can write it down. Fluid part of the blood. Please write it down. The plasma is the fluid part of the blood. Written everyone. And in that maximum composition is it should be what? What it should be? Water. Why you are getting afraid? Say water. Fluid. Water only, sir. Maximum composition of plasma is water. And also, friends, it has some dissolved salts also. Okay. Now, this was about the blood part. Lymph, please write it down here. Lymph responsible for next point. Lymph is responsible for providing again the defense mechanism only. Lymph is responsible for providing the defense mechanism only in the body. Defense mechanism in the body. Now, after this, you please write in the bone, please write tendon. First one, write tendon. Tendon connects or it binds. It binds tendon. 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 These are the fibrous tissues which bind bone to muscle. Tendon are these are the fibrous tissues. Fibrous tissues. These are the fibrous tissues which bind bone to muscle. Clear? And the next one, please write ligament. Bind bone to muscle. Okay. And the next one, please write. Very important. I think this question has been asked earlier in the UPSC. Okay. So please try to study when I'm saying these things. No, these all will come in the form of statements only. These all are the concepts only, okay? And these all concepts will be asked in the form of statements. They will give you one statement, two statements like that, or three statements. And then they will ask you, the first one is correct, second one is correct, all correct, or none correct. Understood? Yes or no? So please try to understand these things and memorize as soon as possible. Okay? Now, ligament, please write it down. It binds bone to bone. It binds bone to bone. So those tissues which are responsible for binding bone to bone are called as ligament. We say no, footballers they are playing. Yes, sometimes they get strained. Yes or no? Muscular cramps and all cricketers while taking the catch they fell. on the ground, right? And then they say, oh, it's paining, oh, here, there, etc., etc. They do. Yes or no? So that time you can see some people, they, like their physios and all, they just came, they come to the ground, right? Running, and they say, oh, you do like this, you do like that. Yes or no? Why? Because they just want to relieve them. They want to relieve the pain. Understood? And these are nothing but the two bones wherever, like this is one bone. Try to understand this point. This is one bone and this is the other bone. These two bones are locked here. Yes or no? Getting my point? Again here also. This is locked here. Getting my point? Similarly here also. This is one bone, this is another bone. Getting my point? So when one bone and the other bone, wherever it is getting locked, so these are locked by ligament. That's so. Okay. And if there is a and certain and this is a and again this is a bone and over here we have flesh muscles is there. Yes or no? Yes. No? So bones and the muscles will be binded together by what? Clear? It is little bit confusing, but yes, practice and keep it inside the mind. Okay. Now move ahead. Third point, please write it down. Please write it down. The third one is this cartilage in the connective tissues. One is this blood and lymph. Then we have bone is the second one, and then the third one is the cartilage. Cartilage, as if you have not heard ever. Huh? These are cartilage only here. Nose tips here. Here, all these soft. Getting my point? So all these tissues are called as cartilage only. Clear? Write it down. Cartilage. It is also a part of connective tissues only. Cartilage, third one, cartilage. Write it down. These are solid solid matrix composed of. These are the solid matrix composed of the sugars. Solid matrix composed of the sugars and the protein. Full stop. They, next point under this, please write. They make the joints. They make the joints surface smooth. They make the joint surface smooth. Like there is a joint, right? So at the joint, there is a cartilage. Clear? And this cartilage basically it makes the movement smooth. Clear? Now, full stop. Under this, you please write its location. Example, you can write nose tips. Nose tips, please write it down. Ear pinna. This is pinna only. Pinna. Okay, write it down. Ear pinna, etc. Now, third one. Now, write the fourth one. Areolar tissues. Areolar tissues. Areolar. Areolar tissues. Areolar tissues are we had parenchyma. You remember that? In the plants, we had parenchyma. You remember that? Which makes the plant afloat. Yes, no. Similarly, in the human beings or in the animals, we have areolar tissues. Getting my point? So these areolar tissues are present where? Between the muscles and the skin. Understood? Between the muscles and the skin. Is this part clear? Please write it down. These are found between the muscles and the skin. These type of tissues are found between the muscles and the skin. Full stop. Written. And after this, you please write these. These. This fits the FITS. This fits the spaces inside the organs. The spaces inside the organs, and this fits. Written. This fits the or this fits the spaces inside the organs, and and also helps in the and also helps in the also helps in the repair of the tissues. Then the fifth one will be the adipose tissue. Write it down. Under this, you please write these tissues are associated with adipose tissues. Very important. Adipose tissues. These tissues are associated with the storage of. Very good. Excellent. These tissues are associated with the storage of fats. This part is clear. We have to this. Some people they have this big bellies also. Yes or no? What are these? Where are they stored? They're stored in the adipose tissues. Is this part clear, everyone? So you can write it down. They are responsible for the storage of fats found in the. Okay, understood. So these are found there in the belly. Write down. Wait firstly. Responsible for the storage of the fats. Okay, and yeah, belly muscles. Okay, etc. You can write. The main function is important. Okay, next one you can write here. It also acts as a heat insulator. Storage of fats is the one function of this tissue, and again the third one is heat insulation. Heat insulator. Yeah, heat insulator. Understood? So these are the two functions that is being performed by adipose tissues. Okay. Now this, how many have you done? Five. Cartilage, areolar, and adipose. These all were the part of what? The connective tissues. Yes, no. Now the next muscles, sorry, the next tissues that we are going to see will be the muscular tissues. Okay. Make a heading muscular tissues. We have time, no? Yeah. Under the muscular tissues, friends, see, under the muscular tissues, there are two types of tissues. Okay. One is called as a voluntary. Voluntary muscles are there. Is this part clear? So muscles which are voluntary in nature means they can be controlled under our will. Clear? Biceps, triceps, etc. Getting my point? If you want, we can increase, we can reduce. Understood? It is under the control of our will. Clear? So those type of muscles are called as the striated. Striated muscles. Striated. Striated. Okay. Also called as a voluntary. Please write it down. Striated muscles voluntary or voluntary muscles. That means they are under the control of our will. Example, biceps, triceps, etc. But there are also certain types of muscles in our body, friends, which is not under the control of our will. Getting my point? Yes or no? Example can be eye muscles. Can you see this for 24 hours like this only? No. Your eye has to bend it. Yes or no? Can you control the blinking of the eye to a certain extent? Yes or no? But again, it has to have happened. Clear? Heart muscles. Yes or no? Say the heart. Stop, stop. 10 minutes. Then you start. Will it happen? No. Intestinal muscles. Will it happen? No. So all these type of muscles which are not under the control of our will, they are called as the unrestricted muscles. Is this part clear? This part is clear. Unrestricted, also called as involuntary. Involuntary and clear. So these are involuntary in nature. That means they are not under the control of our will. Now its example can be eye muscles, heart muscles, intestine muscles, brain, etc. Understood? This part is clear, everyone, friends. Okay. Now these are involuntary in nature. Means they are not under the control of our will. Clear? Now, friends, when there is a muscular contraction and relaxation is taking place, try to understand this important. When the muscular contraction and relaxation takes place, then there are two types of, you can say, there are two types of chemicals that are being secreted. Okay, so what are the name of these two chemicals? It is known as actin and myosin. Actin and myosin is chemicals released in the body helps in muscular contraction and relaxation. There is one more protein which is responsible for this contractile protein. Contractile protein is contractile protein, CONTRACTILE. Contractile protein is responsible for muscular movements. Is this part clear? Yes or no? Understood? Now they ask you which particular element is important for the contraction and the relaxation. So here you can write sodium and potassium. Na means sodium, okay? Sodium and potassium plays important role in, is that it down? Sodium and potassium plays important role in muscular contractions and relaxations. Very important. Okay. Now after this, please write the last one. Huh? Sodium and potassium are the two elements which plays crucial or important role in muscular contractions and relaxations. Is this part clear? Huh? Yes, no. Contractile protein clear. Actin myosin clear. Yes or no? So if you see all these terminologies, you please try to understand it is related to muscular contraction and relaxation. But contractile protein, its name, protein is type of a protein which is known by name called as contractile. Okay, contract means when the muscles have to contract, no, that time this is released in the body. Clear? This is part clear, everyone. It is not injected from outside, it is already released in the body only. Is this part clear? Huh? Now, which elements are responsible? Sodium, potassium. Is this part clear? Now, after this, the last one is this nervous tissue. Please make a note of it. Nervous tissue. And write nervous tissues. Under this should is right. This comprises of a group of neurons comprises of a group of neurons which helps in which helps in the transfer of informations in and out of PNS and PNS. Is this part clear? Yes or no? So these are the group of neurons which basically helps in the transfer of informations in and out of the CNS or the PNS. Is this part clear? The CNS stands for, you can write there. We'll see this in details later on. As of now, for this, you please write CNS stands for Central Nervous System, and this stands for Peripheral What is clear? Understood, everyone? Now, after this, if you see, The unit of a nervous system is neuron. Unit of a nervous system is what? Is neuron. Our brain is made up of over 10 lakhs of neuron. Imagine. Ready my point? Now, if I talk about the neuron, neuron appears to be like this. Now, this is called as dendrons. Okay. This is the nucleus. This is the synapse. Yes, no. Now, what happens is that this is one neuron. Okay. Now here we have another. We have myelin sheath. Myelin sheath. Okay. Some another node of Ranvier and all are there. So we don't have to go that much in depth. So see what happens here. Please, everyone. I'll just suppose that this is one neuron. Okay, try to understand this diagram, friends. Everyone. Can you see this diagram, everyone? Please see here. Yes, no. Is this is one neuron? This is one neuron. Here are two neurons. This is one number one. This is number two. Yes or no? Yes, no. Now, what is happening is that at a point called as, try to understand is very important. At a point called as synapse, the information is jumping from one neuron to the another neuron. Yes or no? Yes. So in the questions they may ask you that the transfer of informations in the nervous system, it takes place via, it takes you, then ask you again, that which particular chemical is responsible for the transfer of the nerve impulse. Which particular chemical is responsible for the transfer of the nerve impulse? In that context, answer will be acetylcholine. Have you heard about this? Informations from one neuron to the another neuron. Which chemical is important? Acetylcholine. Please write it down. Please write it down firstly. Write down firstly. Ah, oh, you want to take photograph? Node of Ranvier. NODE. Node of Ranvier. RANVIER. Node of Ranvier. Okay, it looks like this only. Here, then here, then here, then here, like this. Okay, nodes are there. No, can you see the joint and all? Okay, so write it down. Please write it down here. Please write it down. Write it down. The information are transferred from informations are transferred in the form of electric signals from one neuron to another neuron. Written? Yes, no. Full stop. After this, you please write the point of contact. Next point, the point of contact. The point of contact between one neuron with that of another neuron is called as synapse. With that of another neuron, the point of contact between one neuron with that of another neuron is called as synapse. Is this part clear? Now these are you can say these are dendrons, or these are also known as dendrites also. Okay, getting my point? Dendrons or dendrites, you may find different words, but the things are same only. Is this part clear? Yes, no. Himalayan rivers also are called as dendritic pattern. Yes or no? Have you heard this word? Why dendritic pattern? From anywhere they will join, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Anywhere it will join. That's true. So this pattern is basically called as a dendrites and all. Understood? No. Now after this, you please write acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a chemical which is responsible for the transfer of the acetylcholine. Written. Acetylcholine is a chemical which is responsible for the transfer of the electric signals responsible for the transfer of informations in form of electric signals. Transfer of information in form of electric signals across neuron. Okay. So which chemical is important? Acetylcholine is important. Clear? Now, sometimes they also ask you some elements, or which element is responsible for again this the transfer of the information and all. Okay. So again, the same context you can write sodium, potassium, calcium are sodium, potassium, calcium are some important elements in the okay. Sodium, potassium, calcium are some important elements required in the transfer of informations. Sodium, potassium, and calcium are some elements required in the transfer of informations across nervous system. Predominantly, sodium, potassium screen playing very crucial role. Okay, so they may give you which of the following elements are responsible for the transmission of the electric signals or a transformation or a transfer of the information across the neuron. Which elements are there? Sodium, potassium. Is this part clear? So these are some important things that we have to discuss. Okay, I think. Thank you, sir. Are you clear? No. Ah. Yeah. No, between two different neurons. Between two different neurons. Okay, it plays important roles. Understood? No. Now, one second. See, you are listening. Ah, I am speaking. Still, I am ready here. And you are saying, sir. Um, so, okay. One thing I said about the homework yesterday. Okay. So, I hope you have done that, right? Yes, no. So, you want to cross check that or huh? I'll just say, you check. Have you written? You just make a tick mark in your notebook. That can be done. Yes. Do it fastly. Please cross check with your psychology. Psychology, PHYCOLOGY. The branches of biology. Okay. Heading is branches of biology. Understood? No. Psychology, study of algae. Then cardiology, heart, oncology. Then conchology, CONCO, study of shell, SHELL, shell. If you have not written, you please add it there. Okay. Conchology, that is oncology, ON. Oncology is the study of cancer, but conchology, CONCOLOGY. ओके ह्यूमन ही का बोला था क्या सर? ओके अच्छा ठीक है ओके. साइटोलॉजी तो लिखा है आपने, स्टडी ऑफ द सेल्स लिखा है ना? ओके. डर्मेटोलॉजी लिखा है, स्किन का है. देन एंटोमोलॉजी टिश्यूज का है, नहीं लिखा है? और सॉरी इंसेक्ट्स का होगा ना एंटोमोलॉजी. ओके वेट. देन जेरियाट्रिक्स लिखा है, स्टडी ऑफ द ओल्ड एज एंड ऑल. ओके. नेफ्रोलॉजी, ऑप्थेल्मोलॉजी. ओके. देन urology and all. Okay. So then you have written most of them. Okay. But try to write other also branches of biology, like study of fish, study of fish, the study of, you can say, this the study of this forensic science and all. Clear? Then floriculture, apiculture. हाँ, आज आप वही करके आना, ठीक है। और दूसरा, ये तो वो छोटा हुआ, थोड़ा और क्या करने का है होमवर्क में, अभी कहाँ दिया ही मैं, कहाँ है, ऐसा लगता है ना जैसे मैं कुछ 1 kg ऑफ बोलते हैं ना, ब्लड मांग रहे हैं, दे दे। डू दिस क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ द ऑर्गेनिजम्स, कल हम लोग यही चैप्टर लेंगे। सो व्हाट यू डू इज just prepare a brief outline in your mind so that it will be helpful to you, you know, to grab that in the class. Classification of organisms. Particularly, 1 minute. Particularly, you try to study the 5 kingdom classification. अगर टाइम मिलेगा तो थोड़ा सा इसका डायग्राम आप नोट बना लेना कॉपी में। 5 kingdom classification. It was propounded by Whitaker. You please try to make this in a notebook, that flow chart and all, है ना? थोड़ा you just try to study these things and then come. It will be more interesting to study after that. Okay. So yeah, all of you go home safely. Class is concluded. Thank you, everyone. बालाजी में तो टाइम लगेगा, कैनॉट से, बट नहीं है, 4-5 दिन, 1 हफ्ता लगेगा। हाँ, उसके बाद फिर फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री और फिर साइंस एंड टेक। तो समझ में आ रहा है?
केमिकल इंजीनियर।
ओके ओके, तो आपको तो इजी होगा आपके लिए।
बायो पूरा 10th के बाद कुछ किया नहीं।
अभी तो जा रहा है ना माइंड में।
हाँ, एक्चुअली मैं नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न यूनिवर्सिटी